If you're looking to buy a stacked NBA 2K account with max badges and more, visit sportstmb.com. He has been in the community for years and has hundreds of reviews. Click the first link in the description to get your account today.
If you enjoy this video, there are many more like it already on the channel with many more to come. So if you do enjoy this video, please subscribe and of course drop a like. Also, there is a new episode of my podcast called The Hoopscast out now, where me and my co-host Mojo talked about some hot takes that you guys sent us. And we're dropping another episode on Monday about Kobe and the trade deadline, and another episode dropping on the following Saturday. We got an editor, which means the episodes are going to be dropping way more frequently. Our editor is Rudy St. Clair, who is a really good friend of mine. He has a podcast called Hustle Points, which I have been on a few times, so go give his pod a listen. I'd really appreciate it. And of course, check out the latest episode of the Hoopscast. If you enjoy my content, you'll enjoy the podcast. Anyways, sorry about all the announcement shit. On to the topic of the video. The trade deadline just happened. Tomorrow I'm going to have a 2K Saturday video summarizing it and giving grades to some of the trades. But this deadline was pretty crazy. D'Lo to the Wolves for Andrew Wiggins. The Pistons trading Andre Drummond for nothing, which is pretty hilarious. Marcus Morris to the Clippers, which I think is going to be a bigger deal than it's been given credit for. But obviously the trade that this video is about is the 4-team trade that landed Robert Covington in Houston in exchange for probably their third best player, Clint Capella, who went to the Atlanta Hawks. This move was controversial because, well, the only other center on the Houston Rockets is a 90-year-old Tyson Chandler. The Houston Rockets literally said, fuck a whole position. Centers, we don't do that shit here. The Rockets' new starting center is PJ Tucker, who is 6'5", 245 pounds. I used to be 10 pounds heavier than PJ Tucker, but your boy lost weight. But that is truly insane. But after their game versus the Lakers last night, where they won by 10 despite Harden having just 16 points, matching up PJ Tucker versus Anthony Davis, it seems it's possible that the Rockets could win like this. So that begs the question, can the Houston Rockets win a championship with no true center? No, they cannot. I seriously do not understand how you fell for that. You really think I was going to give them that? No. Look, I defended this trade initially. Me, as someone who is critical as fuck of the Houston Rockets, I defended it because I figured they had another trade in line to get an actual center on their damn roster. There were even trade reports that came out that indicated that that was the case, that they had some trade in line for an Eastern Conference center. I proposed that they trade for Tristan Thompson, who has been great for the Cavs this year. But no, they didn't do that. They're really doing this shit. They're going to start a 6'5" guy at center. They're really doing this. Sorry if you're a Rockets fan and you thought that I'd finally say something nice about this team, but until they stop doing dumb shit, that doesn't happen here. But let's play devil's advocate here, which I'm going to be doing for pretty much all of this video because that's the only way that you can do something and try to think this isn't stupid, but fuck it, let's do it. The NBA has gradually stepped away from the center position as the game has evolved. That's especially been the case in recent years. A decade or so ago, Roy Hibbert was a top 3 center in the NBA. That is pathetic. This dude Roy Hibbert made an all-star team, averaging 11-6 on 45% shooting as a big man. You know who has better stats than that this year? Alex motherfucking Len. Over the past few years, however, there has been a resurgence of talent in the center position in the NBA, with Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic. But even with that, the NBA has still moved away from the center position. Basically, where the NBA is now, if you're not an Embiid or Jokic, basically top tier center in the league, you're not that valuable. You're actually pretty damn disposable. as I think Andre Drummond proved, because the difference between Andre Drummond and Tristan Thompson really is not that significant. In terms of impact anyways. That's just how it is now. What the NBA needs out of a prototypical center these days is someone who can rebound the ball, protect the rim, catch some alley-oops, and just be big, really. That's something that Nerlens Noel can do. You really don't need a top-tier guy to be able to pull that off, so the value of the center position, again, unless you are a top-of-the-line player, has dropped significantly. The difference in impact between Clint Capella and someone like JaVale McGee or Kevon Looney is not that big. Looney himself is actually a great example of this. Kevon Looney is not a special player. I think we can all agree with that. He just checks all of the necessary boxes of a modern NBA center. Rebound, be big, dunk, that's all you need. The Warriors have proved just how much more important every other position is in modern basketball. They've gotten by in the past few years with just okay centers. But, here's the but, you can't just not have one. The center position may not be at the value that it was in the older age of the NBA, but you still need one. The value of the center has not completely disappeared. We could talk about positionless basketball all day, and I'd actually be happy to do it. But you can't just say, centers, we don't need that shit. You do! Because while most teams can't get by with just an okay center, defensively, the center is the most important position in basketball. Once you get through all the extra guys, all the perimeter defenders, you need a guy that can stop players at the rim. If you don't have that, you have a problem. Centers are called centers because they are the center of the defense. I actually don't know if that's true, but it does sound right. Defense matters. I know it isn't that fun, but defense is more than just something you use to dismiss good offensive players who are bad defensively. It has importance outside of just your own narratives. You cannot survive with a center who is barely bigger than me. And you especially cannot do that when you're in this year's Western Conference. There's a chance that the Rockets could have gone away with this a few years ago, but not anymore, man. See, an argument that I saw made was, well, the Warriors killed the West for a few years with their small ball dominance. However, few things there. One, they still had a center when they needed one, which they often did. Two, this Rockets team isn't even close to the Warriors teams of the past few years. And three, the West had fuck all for big man during the Warriors run. Let's go over who the Warriors faced over the past few years in the playoffs at the center position. In 2015, they faced Anthony Davis, which could have been an issue, but the rest of the team sucked butt. They faced Marc Gasol in the second round, but he's not a big time scoring type of guy. They played the Rockets, ironically, who had Dwight Howard, but he wasn't that great at the time. And they faced the Cavs with Timothy Mozgov. 2016, they had the Rockets in the first round. They had Capella. The Blazers, round two, they had a starting big man with Mason Plumlee. Then OKC, Steven Adams, not a star. The Cavs, this time just Tristan Thompson. 2017, they faced Jusuf Nurkic with the Blazers. Rudy Gobert and the Jazz. Spurs with an 80-year-old Pau Gasol. The Cavs again. 2018, LaMarcus Aldridge at center for the Spurs. Pelicans with AD again. Rockets, and Cavs. And I think we can stop there. Rudy Gobert once, LaMarcus Aldridge once, and Anthony Davis twice on terrible teams outside of Anthony Davis. Those were the only star-level big men that they faced in the playoffs throughout their entire 4-year run. And the reason why the Warriors beat those teams was not because those star big men were not dominant, it's just because the rest of the pieces around them weren't there. The West this year, you got Rudy Gobert, who might not drop 30 points on you, but he's gonna get a shit ton of rebounds. You have Nikola Jokic, who will dominate in every facet. And most importantly, you have Anthony Davis on the Lakers. But unlike Anthony Davis of the past, he no longer has a Pelicans team around him. He has LeBron James. The Lakers don't need AD to drop 50 for them to have even a chance to beat an elite team. Same goes for Jokic and Gobert. I wouldn't bet on the Utah beating the Houston Rockets, but now that the center thing is here, it's very well possible. The West now has 3 big men with the foundations around them for them to be able to decimate the Houston Rockets. Now, if we can go back to the Warriors small ball comparison, one of the reasons why why, or really the main reason why, that worked so well was Draymond Green. Now, I think very highly of PJ Tucker. I have said in the past that I don't think the difference between Draymond Green and PJ Tucker is that significant. And that's not because I think Draymond Green is overrated, it's because I think PJ Tucker is heavily underrated. The reason I hesitated to say earlier that Capella was the third best player on the Rockets is because I honestly might have given that to PJ Tucker. One of the best, most versatile defenders in the league, great rebounder for his size, good hustle guy, great three-point shooter, especially in the corner. I really could not like PJ more. But the reason that the Warriors' small ball worked defensively is because of how well it worked offensively. Draymond had abilities that PJ Tucker just simply does not possess, and that is great ball handling and playmaking for a, in this situation, center. And with the spacing that the Warriors had, that destroyed teams. Draymond would punish the centers that he would go up against by either just blowing by them or getting by them in the pick and roll, and either finishing himself or making a split-second pass to an open shooter or cutter. And because of that, the teams that they were going up against would often change to small ball lineups themselves just so they could have someone to keep up with Draymond Green. And because of that ability, teams would switch up their lineups themselves to match the Warriors with a small ball lineup just so they could put someone out there that could keep up with Draymond Green. There were times in that Jazz series that I mentioned earlier where Draymond was playing Gobert off of the court. PJ Tucker, as much as I will advocate for him being extremely underrated, does not have that ability. So offensively, the Houston Rockets cannot punish a team offensively to get them to bend to their will defensively. And for the Warriors, when their small ball was not working, which wasn't that often, but they had a big man for it to make that adjustment. The Rockets don't, unless you want to count Tyson Chandler, which the guy's practically in a retirement home. All of the defensive benefits that you gain by trading for Robert Covington go out the window when you don't have any rim protection. If I am almost as big as your team's starting center, I really shouldn't have to tell you that that's a fucking problem. My co-host Mojo tweeted the other day that he respected the Rockets for at least trying new things and being one of the teams in the league that often is the first team to try something new. But if all those things end up being really fucking stupid, I don't know that I can praise you for that. So yeah, this trade was dumb. But as I said, please go check out the latest episode of the Hoops Cast. It was a fun episode. At one point, we got into an argument about if Kelly Oubre is the best looking player in the NBA. He clearly is, but go check it out. That's the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this. And for one final pitch to get you to go check out the podcast, I'm going to end on a clip right here. So check this out.
I used this last time. We're going to make a five player list, okay?
Oh no.
Kelly Oubre Jr. is the cutest player in the NBA. First of all, my man John Collins is extremely slept on. Okay, John Collins is that dude. Okay, and if I told him to, if I pull up to your house with John Collins and say, "Hey, get that man, mom," he's gonna pull your mom. Okay. Why?
Kevin Love also a model.
Oh, Yusuf Nurkic.
Nah.
Yusuf Nurkic. That man.
He just has a decent haircut. He looks like Los. He looks like Los Pollos, man.
Get out of here, dude.